Welcome, soul family. This is the Taurus lunar eclipse astrology forecast. This will have your sun sign horoscopes and oracle card readings as well for all 12 signs. I'm Jude Hotep. I am the goddess astrologer and master soul coach. I've had a name change, so I'm actually Dove Hotep, but I'm getting used to it myself, so it's going to take a minute here. And if you don't know about me, I'm a professional astrologer and a master soul coach. We're going to get right into the chart for this eclipse. We're going to talk about that this is a lunar eclipse. I'm going to show you the path of the eclipse. This eclipse is happening on the 28th. Let me just pull up the chart for you. And a lunar eclipse is always a full moon. So this moon here in Taurus is opposite the sun in Scorpio. You might be watching this at any time when it comes out, because I'm putting this out quite ahead of the eclipse happening on the 28th of October. Yet again, we're having an eclipse on a Saturday, and this is the lunar eclipse. We're only having 2 eclipses this season, which is great. We had some busy eclipse seasons recently, so we talked about in the Libra solar eclipse videos, and if you haven't seen them, you can go to Light Goddess YouTube and make sure to subscribe so you'll be notified when the bi-monthly astrology forecast updates come out. But you can kind of watch that because it has a lot of great information. I put 2 videos out. I put one with sun signs, and I put one all about the Libra solar eclipse. That's a report that goes in deep to what that Libra solar eclipse was about. And so that was a solar eclipse. So it was a new moon. And we're having a Venus eclipse season. Earlier this year, we had an Aries eclipse on April 19th, and then we had a Scorpio eclipse on May 5th, and we had a Mars eclipse season earlier this year. And that was the 5 months that we've been living in. That was the energies, that was what we were working on, that was the assignment for everyone on earth, for everyone in the collective, to work on Aries and Scorpio archetype, that Mars or archetype, which is initiating, taking action in the world. And it's that Aries of being autonomous and fierce independence, being assertive, being direct, not being mousy and manipulative, because you're not being direct and not owning your own stuff and putting it back onto the other person when it's really yours, or not speaking up, not speaking your voice, not receiving. Not receiving is also in that shadow. And so, and Aries can also be aggressive or warlike. And so it was dealing with that Aries archetype and the Scorpio archetype of transmuting our limitations, our blocks, of overcoming our obstacles and blocks, transmuting them, changing our obstacles and blocks into Scorpio, our power. And so this Mars eclipse season is what we've been living with for 5 months. And now we're nearing the end of this eclipse season. The eclipse season usually lasts for about a month after the last eclipse, and usually very heavily, you can feel the intensity about 2 weeks before and after very heavily. And so there is this this is marking the new cycle until next year in April, when we have the eclipses again. And so it's like a 6-month eclipse season coming up, that we'll have this energy of this Venus eclipse season. So we've had this Libra eclipse ruled by Venus, and we've had now having a Taurus lunar eclipse ruled by Venus. Let's look at this. So I think you'll find this fascinating. So here and here, this was the path of the Libra solar eclipse that we just had. The most visible area was this path right here, and you can see that this is the where you would be able to see the whole eclipse, viewing it through these states, parts of Oregon, Nevada, Utah, and New Mexico and Texas. And then the rest of the states could see partial of the eclipse. And so the path in the area that the eclipse goes through is like where it's having its a great effect. So it's having its effect on this part of the country and in these places. And it's, very heavily happening in the United States. So it's something to think about, that this is affecting us, and we'll kind of see what the outcome of this is as time goes on. Looking at the lunar eclipse, I'll share this with you. this is the path of this lunar eclipse, where you can see how it's going to be it's going to be really visible. It's not going to be visible in the United States. Come on. It's going to be right here. It's not going to be visible. So just maybe you can see a little bit of the eclipse if you're in New York and Pennsylvania and Delaware, Rhode Island and Boston and New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, all these areas. But basically the rest of the US is not going to be able to have any visibility of the lunar eclipse at all. Mainly it's Africa, Morocco, Sri Lanka, Russia, all the Scandinavian countries, and the UK and France, and the European countries in the Middle East, and Crete, and so forth. So mainly this is the area where everyone that lives here will be able to see the full lunar eclipse. So that's beautiful. And those are the places where it's affecting the most as well. So something that usually helps everyone is remember that there is these less 12 signs and more 6 consciousnesses. These are the polarities, and this really helps when we're looking at the chart, of course. And we are in this Aries Libra nodal axis. Obviously, at this point, if you are a regular watcher, you'll hear me talk about this a lot because it's our assignment right now. And if you would like to download my free astrology mini course, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. That's empowered women plural, and rise RISE.com, and download the free astrology mini course. Or you can go to the YouTube channel and click on the banner, and it'll allow you to download the mini course. But when you do that, you'll get my astrology mini course and be able to learn from me how to really understand your personal astrology and understand the life and the decoder ring that astrology is. It's so powerful. I hope you all love it. So go check that out. That will really help you a lot. And if you're here and you're loving these videos, please like it. And if something's really affecting you, shoot it off, text it to a friend, and share it with someone that it could really benefit right now. So this is a Venus eclipse cycle, y'all. It's so important to think about the Venus archetype. It's about relationships, and Taurus is the relationship to self. And this full moon is conjunct Jupiter, and in this balsamic or applying conjunction to Jupiter, and the sun is in this separating or new moon conjunction to Mercury, because Mercury is going to keep moving faster than the sun. And so the sun is, already spoken to Mercury. We are at the time of this eclipse, we're in Scorpio season now, and have moved into Scorpio season out of that Libra season. That Libra season was a South Node Libra season. And so we were digging up and having the chance to heal all of the South Node issues in our relationships. Libra is about discriminating who we want to be in relationship with and who we don't. And it's about unity through diversity, tolerance for everyone's views, but not necessarily loving and liking and being in a relationship with everyone. You don't let narcissists have access to you, of course, right? You don't let an abuser stay in your life, or an emotional manipulator stay in your life, or even one that's light and that is not malicious, but is a manipulator because they're not doing their own inner work and owning their stuff. And so they're projecting it onto you constantly, or deflecting back their stuff back to you, and that's not fun type of relationship to be in. And so you have maybe chosen in this culmination of this season to let go of these relationships that don't honor you, that don't respect you, that where nobody's growing, they're not growing, and they can't meet you at your same level, or it's tiresome for you to be in because they're always projecting onto you. And so or deflecting, or never owning their stuff, so you can't even really have a truly authentic relationship with them. So very powerful changes we've made. For some people, it's really just getting started on the healing journey and looking inward and starting to be provoked to take responsibility for their healing and what they're being called to evolve and grow through. For many of us, though, we have been doing the deep inner dives and work all through 2022 and everything that's happened with this year, and going through the Venus retrograde and going through these intensities of the eclipses earlier this year, and Saturn moving signs and Pluto moving signs. When the outer planets move signs, it's big changes, and we're going to be coming up to Neptune and Uranus changing, and so it's these big shifts. Pluto can stay in a sign for 40 years. Pluto's going to be staying in Aquarius for 20 years, starting in November of 2024. It's been in Capricorn since 2008. So we're ending this massive 15-year cycle of bringing up all of the secrets, all of the behind the scenes of how the structures of our world, of our governments, of our institutions, of our education, of our healthcare, of our pharmaceuticals, of our technology, of big companies, of all of the how they work. It's been bringing up all the secrets and all the behind the scenes functioning of how they work, for worse or for better, showing the underbelly, showing the deep dark corruption and the scams and the lies and all of that. Pluto brings it up to the surface. Pluto doesn't necessarily help us heal it. Pluto says we have to see it, we have to work with this material to heal it. That's when we actually go and evolve, and we need to feel, we need to experience to evolve. And so we've had this year-long square running to the nodes from Pluto, all about the evolution. And we were in that Scorpio Taurus nodal axis, and now we're in this Libra Aries nodal axis. And so we've got this assignment, and this Taurus lunar eclipse is this full moon. It's Taurus archetype, all about this attraction. You know, Venus is about attraction, who we attract. And so it's like, what's going on within you? Why are we attracted? Who do we attract, and why are we attracting that? And this Taurus archetype is all about the relationship to self. Are you bringing value to the world? And your relationship to yourself will tell you everything. It will either prevent you from bringing value to the world or propel you to bring value to the world. Because if you are in deep self-love, self-confidence, valuing yourself, valuing what you bring to the world and your unique gifts, talents, and abilities, which is all Taurus, then you will be able to take action on that and actualize. You'll be able to create your goals, make your dreams happen, creatively self-actualize, right? But if you don't feel valuable, and you don't know your gifts and talents and abilities, and if you don't value yourself, then you don't create any value for the world. And this is such an important thing that we're going through, is this deep inner exploration of Taurus about self-reliance and self-sufficiency. It's provoking us to, this eclipse is going to turn everyone back inward. Things aren't going to work. Who you went to for advice, they're not going to be available. Who you went to when you had a problem, or what coping mechanism you did when you had a problem, it's not going to work. Your pot person, they're going to be out. The alcohol that you normally drink is not going to do it, or you're going to get overly drunk, or there's going to be some problem. The people that you usually rely upon, they're not going to be available, or they're not going to want to hear it, or whatever it is. You're going to be, Taurus turns us back inward onto ourselves to develop and cultivate self-reliance, and to realize that we're a MacGyver, that we have the skills and the tools within us, that we are actually incredibly valuable, incredibly resourceful, and are able to build and grow things in this world, to create value, that we are valuable ourselves. So we have to turn inward and value ourselves. In all my coaching work I do, this is one of the things I always have to address with clients, but end up addressing with clients. If no matter what they bring, this is always underneath, whether we have Taurus value for ourselves. And it's a deep subconscious belief that most people, I would say probably 99.999% of the population does not have, I am valuable, I feel valuable, people value me, does not have these subconscious beliefs programmed into their subconscious. And because of that, they don't value themselves. And because of all the other dynamics in their chart and past life momentum and the things that they came here to grow through, you know, it's about cultivating it. And how do we cultivate it? And so Jupiter is expanding how we don't value ourselves, and Jupiter is expanding all the financial issues. Taurus is money, Taurus is possessions and belonging, and having what, like the luxury around us, having our senses satisfied, the taste, touch, see, feel. So the people you want to be close to and hug and touch, the sensuality and sexuality. You know, Taurus is about a deeply sexual sign and sensual sign, and is about, you know, are you able to celebrate your sexuality? Because sexuality has been repressed in this culture, and anything that's repressed is perverted and distorted. And we have a whole distortion of sex in this culture. It's absolutely distorted, and no one is nearly no one is sexually liberated in this culture. And most people will be quite shocked by that statement, but it is truth that most people do not celebrate sexuality. There's so much wisdom between the legs, and we need to turn back inward as women to cultivate our connection to our bodies, our connection to self-pleasure. This Taurus is wanting us to connect inward and to be self-sustaining and bring the feminine, and to reclaim our sexuality from a sacred place, from a place of celebration. So this eclipse is bringing up everything in this Taurus archetype. And, you know, where is Taurus at in your chart? If you want to find out where Taurus is at in your chart and where this eclipse is happening in your chart, go to empoweredwomenrise.com to download my free astrology mini course, or go to the YouTube channel, and it's right on the banner. You can click there and download it there. And so you can find out where this is happening in your chart. And so it's like everything about money and how you create money in this world. Is it through a job? Is it through entrepreneurship? Most of the people here, you know, are feminine, audacious feminine soulpreneurs. You're working to make a big impact in this world to help change the world. You are doing the inner work to heal yourself, and you're an empowered woman standing up in this world, speaking your voice and gaining invisibility. And so by being an entrepreneur, soulpreneur, you know, how are you making money, and where are you at with that? You know, is that a healed thing for you? Where are all your money thoughts and all your money brain? Where's your money stories? You know, are you going around saying it's expensive? We've had massive inflation in this world for no reason. General Mills made more than they've ever made, and yet they, you know, hiked prices up 500% or 1,000% or something. Why is prices needed hiked up if you are, you know, making plenty of profit beyond what you made before? There's actually this is a fake, you know, need for inflation. It's completely false. And, you know, it's a circumstance that I'm directly not going to be able to do anything about. So I'm not going to have money thoughts that are like, things are so expensive. I'm never going to say that thought to myself. I do notice that my morning tea went up $5 in 10 months. I notice it, I'm aware of it, but I'm like, okay, make more money. And the goal in entrepreneurship anyways is to scale and to make more money, because when you make money, you dissolve her story of women being suppressed. You create your ability to influence the value system, which is Taurus, that is enacted and invoked in society and culture. And you have the ability to start developing yourself, because to make money, you have to create value, and to create value and make money, you will be provoked with all your inner shadow, all your inner pain, wounds, traumas, insecurities, self-doubt, and resistance to putting yourself out there, to doing the things you have to do to make money. And so all that's going to come up for you. And are you facing it? And how are you facing it? And do you have tools and methods and techniques? And so this is what Taurus talks about, is your value system. What is your value system based upon? You know, and this is the Venus archetype. because our value system often comes from, 0 to 6 years old, where we are programmed by the people around us, by the culture, by everything that's going on, by our parents, by everything that's going on around us. And they have shitty money beliefs, and society has all these programs, and the patriarchy, and all the dominator culture, and all of the industrial fascists, work hard and grind and die for your country, like all of this bullshit, all of these horrible programs that people have been living under for eons, being enslaved by a very small percentage of the population who are narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths. We have to stand up and start becoming empowered and changing this world, because most people are not narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, and they can heal any of the trauma and wounds that cause them to behave in those types of ways because they're influenced by them, and to heal, and then to move into activities and engagements in the world that would lead to humanity being free and liberated, which is Aquarius, the Aquarius age, liberation, individuated, leaders amongst leaders, which is the Aries archetype, being a leader, being autonomous within relationship. And so your value system talks to you so much about, like, was it from your parents? Have you deprogrammed what was just a default, and have, from past lives, from parents and the people around you in this life, and have you decided what your value system is? And I'll tell you, when I first started kind of really coming to value, what are my values, I really had to, like, do a lot of inner work and questioning and discovery, because I was like, I don't even know what a value is. Like, what is a value? I know what it was kind of put on me growing up, of how it was kind of put out there for me, but I was like, that's not it. And so I had to go in and start really doing some self-inquiry about values. Like, what are my values? For example, with aesthetics and appearance, like, I value comfort over my looks. So I will make sure I'm comfortable before I look what might be, looking aesthetically pleasing to the rest of the world, or to myself even. I value comfort. I will not put myself in a bunch of uncomfortable clothes to look good, because I value comfort. So it might be a micro example, but having a micro example like this will help you to deal with it on the bigger levels. Like, I really value exploration and discovery and learning and growth and evolution. And so everything I do is about, humanity and society evolving, because that's what I value is liberation. I value freedom at the highest levels. And here's the thing that most people don't understand is that any pocket of victimhood within you is a pocket of disempowerment, and it's a pocket where you are not free. And most people don't realize they are not free. And that's that whole matrix metaphor, that, we're not free if we are believing programs that keep us limited and blocked and stuck, and not accomplishing at the highest levels our own greatness and bringing our own unique genius to the world. That's not freedom. Any program that you are under is a lack of freedom. And so Uranus is always provoking us to liberate and to individuate and to find more freedom, as painful as Uranus often is, the breakdown to the breakthrough. And this eclipse is co-present with Uranus in Taurus. And so it's got Jupiter there, which is expanding this Taurus archetype and expanding this eclipse energy, and then co-present with Uranus, about individuation and freedom and liberation. And it has everything to do with your value systems. Like, you might value safety and comfort. And the last 4 years, the culture, it has been programmed. Safety. That is a program that was purposely inundated to the masses. It's called mass formation or mass hypnosis. And it was purposely programmed so that people would be driven more back into the past, because the past is what the limbic primal brain, or what parts of your psyche soul considers safe, considers security, because it's what's known, it's what's familiar. To evolve and grow, we basically got to gunsling some insecurity and some some instability. And the thing is if we can inoculate ourselves to feeling like we are unstable when we have instability, or when we have insecurity, when we can inoculate ourselves to insecurity, then we will move mountains, we will make amazing accomplishments happen, we will do our big wild dreams, and we will do the deep inner work. But when we're unwilling to be insecure or to feel unstable at all, then we're not willing to be in the evolution, because evolution is messy, man. It's chaotic. It's this raucous roller coaster ride and a raging river, whitewater rafting, and down waterfalls. You don't know what's going on. You're completely lost at times. You're bumbling around, completely confused. The walls and the ceiling and the floor is missing, and you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I thought I had the plot down, and now it's just gone. And if you've had a spiritual awakening, you will recognize that experience. And so what's your value system? Are you valuing yourself at the deepest levels? Are you creating value in the world that you then make money off of? Big questions. Of course, opposite this Mars and Mercury in Scorpio. Scorpio at the deepest level, deepest level, is about overcoming our blocks, transmuting limitations. So what does that mean? It means overcoming our deep blocks. And what are our blocks? Our blocks is all of our shadow, all of our wounds, all of our triggers, traumas, past life, gunk, and most of everything every reason why you don't take action on something that you want to do in your life, something you want to make, create, put out into the world, is because of all that gunk inside. And all we got to do is go in and do it. And that's why took me 34 years, but that's why I developed my method and techniques to do just that. I teach that in my monthly group coaching in Light Goddess, and I teach that in my one-to-one coaching container. So there's two places where you can go and you can transmute your limitations and blocks to create your big dreams. If you want to work, do this work. I develop methods and techniques that work because I didn't find anything out there that was effective. It maybe had one puzzle piece, or maybe it was supportive, or maybe it just was nice to have somebody there talking to them, but it wasn't effective. It didn't actually solution the problem. And so it took me 34 years, but I cultivated my own methods and techniques that are 100% effective. And so the Scorpio is saying, hey, like, let's heal. And here's the thing. Most people, when I ask them, what is healing to you? They talk about meditation or Reiki or these different things. But again, it's not the puzzle. Healing, we have to heal on the mental, emotional, physiological action taking, and the energetic psychic realms. We have to heal on all four realms. We can't just heal in one and just do energy work. And most people don't even do energy work in the way that it would actually heal stuff. That was something I had to develop. And so most people don't even know what healing is. They think it's synonymous with therapy, or they think it is like moving and walking in nature, or they think it's psychedelic, journeys and transformational retreats. And again, that's not healing. They could be healing and have a healing effect, but you will never heal completely with those things. To heal, we must experience and feel emotions and process things all the way through. And so if you understand that nobody in the world knows how to heal, and you understand that when you ask people, how do you release emotion? Most people are like meditation and dancing and Reiki. And it's like, nobody knows how to release an emotion or knows to feel an emotion. Everybody's intellectualizing emotions. No wonder we are where we are. And it's okay, because now we're in the precipice of changing things. But Scorpio is deeply psychological. Scorpio is deeply metaphysical. And this is the Scorpio season, and the sun just talked to the shapely attractor, which reveals the secrets and also speaks of greatness. And so this eclipse has this infusion of the shapely attractor in it that's like, I'm going to bring up the secrets. Like there's going to be a lot of secrets revealed in the world. There's going to be a lot of things coming out about politicians and world leaders and governments and what's been going on underneath the scenes. Of course, Pluto's been pumping this out anyways for us for a long time. But this is definitely what you'll be seeing. You know, Mars is wanting to take action to move into changing and evolving, but it can also be scared to do so and feel very insecure about doing so. You know, Mercury here wants to get to the bottom of things and wants to understand its emotions and its psychology and what's really going on behind things. So there's a lot of this kind of energy in this eclipse. This eclipse is ruled by Venus conjunct Lilith. Lilith is all about equality in partnerships and no longer being subservient in relationships. And Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra and is the sign about relationships, relationship to self, Taurus, relationship to others, Libra. It is about sexuality, sensuality. It is about money and about creation. And so in Virgo, we are being asked and given this amazing opportunity, these sesquisquares happening and these semi-squares happening to this eclipse, to the ruler of the eclipse and Venus. We are being afforded the opportunity to heal the guilt. The thing is that when you feel guilty, you project that guilt onto the other person and you think you're doing something good, like maybe apologizing, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. But it's as if that other person is saying, oh, you shouldn't have done this, when that other person isn't even thinking about it. But you project that guilt. Or you have all the guilt coming up in your psyche, and so you're using that as an excuse. I see a lot of people use the guilt as an excuse to not heal, to not do the inner work, to not face things, to stay in bad relationships, to never actually move forward in life. And the Venus for people who have Venus in Virgo, you know, they will often be so stagnated because it is such a self-abusive mechanism to kind of atone for past life stuff and desires that they have to gain humility, but it's usually cranked up to this gear that's way too high to be helpful, and it's usually not very helpful. And so we're being given this opportunity to release guilt and to understand where we have that. And if you come into Light Goddess monthly coaching program, or you come into my one-to-one coaching, you will learn the technique to pattern interrupted guilt, to just get it out of there and to burn off these neural pathways and these synapses that you don't need there. You don't need the guilt. The guilt's not about anything. A lot of times we don't even need to unpack it. We just need to turn off that error message happening in the brain. It's just an error code in the neural pathways and synapses, and it's not helpful. For a Venus and Virgo person, like they would want to actually, if they had this in their natal chart, want to actually be unraveling that in the inner world, and there's some methods for that. But with this eclipse being sesquisquare to Lilith and Venus, and you have the two goddesses, you know, relationships and equal partnerships partnering up and conjunct during this eclipse. And Venus was also ruling the eclipse, the Libra solar eclipse that we just had on the 14th, and semi-square to the sun in Scorpio. It's very much about getting rid of the sexual guilt, getting rid of all of the guilt around sexuality, getting rid of the lack of sacredity, and purifying our sexuality from all of the depravity. Most sexuality on this planet is depraved. And it's a hard pill to swallow for most people to wake up and realize this. Women are subjugated in porn. They are subjugated. And people have, I remembered it and it left my brain. What's that syndrome that people have like for bank robbers and what have you. Well, it'll come back to me, or you know what I'm talking about, where, you know, somebody robs a bank, they take people hostage, and the hostages start helping the bank robbers. And it's the syndrome that happens. And, you know, people that are abused start to, you know, work with their abusers. It's a really messed up mechanism that happens from abuse. It's really hard for people abused to start to unravel all of that. And it's really can be really yucky to unravel that. And it's a part of the healing process of healing abuse for a lot of abuse, and particularly sexual abuse. This is humanity waking up and saying, like, we are going to stand up. And Virgo is about serving humanity from a place of humility. It's putting this kibosh on the Leo mechanism, which will go too far otherwise, into the narcissism and into the self-grandeur and into the megalomania, like a Hitler. And so it's about humility, but because it's trying to humiliate the ego, it can have so, you know, there's just all this guilt, like, oh, I did it wrong, whatever. And it can be so self-abusing. So we have to actually look where we are being self-abusive, where we are putting ourselves down. Virgo is a self-improvement mechanism, but it can be on steroids and go too far, where you're putting yourself down, where you won't take action because you don't think you deserve, Taurus, to have things and to be visible and to speak and to have a big purpose and to have accomplishments and to make things happen and to be seen and revered and thought of well and have applause. That Virgo mechanism can feel that way, and so not take action on its big purpose. So this is the stuff we're dealing with. And not just sexuality, but all of our blocks and all of our inner psychological subconscious shit, Scorpio, that is stopping us, this opposition from feeling valuable, feeling worthy and deserving, and creating value in the world that creates money and changes the world for the better. Standing up as a woman. You know, Taurus is the feminine. And so is Scorpio, and so is Virgo. This is all feminine. This is a feminine eclipse. This is feminine energy. This is a deep inward. One of the things about that's happening in the collective is I keep hearing this about mothering. Mothering is masculine. What somebody was trying to say when they were saying that very poorly, because it's confusing people out there. We have to, as leaders, we want to be conscious of not confusing people, because when people are coming and learning on the spiritual path and they're waking up and they're learning things they don't know, all these types of messages can confuse people into weird directions that perpetuate our own suppression and our own not being liberated and not being free and not being intelligent and not being spiritually masterful. And so mothering, what they were trying to say is that mothering is a doing, that the mother's doing all the time, which I've been talking about that for several years. But what they missed is it's not masculine, it's feminine, it's yin, that the feminine is motivated from within. The masculine is motivated from without, from externally. And so all of the doing that we do from the feminine energy is going to be motivated from within. And all the doing that we do from masculine energy is going to be motivated from external. And the same for being. The masculine bees as well. It's being. It has a beingness as well. Like if you are around a divine masculine energy in a person, it's amazing. It's very still and sure and confident and doesn't need to prove anything. And it's just so steady and so there. It's very beautiful. And it doesn't talk a lot, you know. And so a masculine energy's beingness is going to come from external motivation, and a feminine energy's beingness is going to come from an internal motivation. So if we deconflate all of these misunderstandings about the masculine and the feminine and understand that one is driven and motivated from an internal place and one is driven and motivated from an external place, this will help everyone so much understand the masculine and the feminine, and not, you know, connect it to identity and not connect it to these ideas of being and doing that are wrong and erroneous and are confusing people out there, and it's not helpful. And so a deeply feminine internal deep dive is this solar eclipse, wanting us to go deeply within And the thing is that that solar eclipse, the Libra solar eclipse, was ruled by 5-degree Virgo, and Venus is moving fast through Virgo. It's only been 2 weeks, and she's in Virgo still at this 18-degree mark, but she was at 5 degrees Virgo for that Libra solar eclipse, and so it was a deep internal understanding and purging and culmination in that Libra solar eclipse, from an internal feminine yin place of understanding who I'm meant to be in relationships with, who I'm not. I'm ending this. I'm out of that. I am strong and empowered. All the work and healing I've done has made me incredibly solid. And I am this person. And if people are in for the relationships, great. And if they're not, but I don't accept any of these. So really, really powerful. And now this lunar eclipse is still ruled by this Virgo Venus, this deep internal deep dive of analyzing and working to improve upon ourselves. But are we trying to improve upon getting money and improve upon like value? Because Taurus is material things and getting clothes and jewelry and money and cars and houses and all these things. Are we doing it for what reason? And this is an internal deep analyzing of, are we doing it for status? Are we doing it for wounds? Are we doing it to feel special? Are we doing it for other people to approve of us? Are we doing it to keep up with appearances of what we're sold in the culture is supposedly important? That's not important at all. It has nothing to do with evolution. And are we removing our obstacles and overcoming our psychological inner subconscious shit? And so it's looking at all of this. So for a lot of people, it's going to bring up this massive purge. For a lot of people, people are going to be shown all of the secrets that they weren't willing to face before. It's going to be hitting them in the face. They're going to have a lot of sacred mirrors, in the people that they encounter, in the situations and the life experiences they encounter. People get illnesses when we don't listen and we don't hear. Illnesses develop because we're not listening and we're not doing the inner work. And people don't understand what shadow work really is. People don't understand what inner work really is. People don't understand what healing really is and how to do it. And that's why I developed my methods and techniques purely because I wanted to heal myself. It was purely selfish, where I was like, how do I ever accomplish anything or do my big dreams and help the world or do anything worthwhile if I don't heal? And I was not able to do any of those things until I healed. I was not able to make money until I healed. I was not able to have success until I healed. And so that's why I developed my methods and techniques, because therapy was ineffective. All these hundreds and literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things that I tried and found, and experts and gurus and teachers and you name it. I mean, it's more so, I've made the list before, and it's literally volumes of things that I've tried and done and learned and trained in and went to and talked to, and it was ineffective. It was missing puzzle pieces. It was missing the whole picture of healing. And so this is going to be this deep internal dive. And this eclipse is wanting you to align to your value and to remove the guilt, to start pattern interrupting and getting rid of the error in the brain of guilt. This old paradigm was built upon guilt. And here's the thing: if you feel guilty, you can be puppeted around and you can be controlled through that guilt. And if you look at TV shows, if you look at the dynamics within relationships, it is so much full of guilt and people trying to atone for that guilt. And it's micro and it's subconscious, meaning that you don't even know you're doing it. It's below your conscious awareness. You're not even aware of it. And to look at that means you got to get real. And are you willing to do that, my friend? Are you really willing to look in the mirror? And I know so many of you are, and so many of you are on this healing journey with me and doing the deep, gnarly, like just hell realm inner work. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of us, because we are changing the world by doing this. Because when we clear out our subconscious, then we create a different reality than that old subconscious was creating, because our subconscious creates a reality. Our beliefs create a reality, and our beliefs are held in our subconscious. So it's just this, you know, beautiful thing to value yourself and then create value for the world, create, you know, whether it's a computer program or whether it's a course or a podcast or a circle or community or books, your intellectual property, you know, no matter, you know, whether you're a healer and you do massage or you do energetics or you do, you know, making amazing food and experiences and retreats, you know, whatever the beautiful work is that you're here to do in this world, you know, when you do that work and you value yourself at the highest levels, you get to show up from this different place and you get to affect the whole world. It ripples out. It actually does affect the whole world. You know, this is about being the soul on fire, because Taurus is the springtime and the flowers blooming, and you know, it's all the little animals and the bunnies and the little tiny ducks and how fuzzy they are when they're just so new. And it is the amazingness of spring after a long snowy, you know, very cold winter. And it is that kind of energy, and it's this full bloom. You know, a full moon is an illumination, but an eclipse is a cutting away from the old dynamics of not valuing yourself, cutting away from the old dynamics of how you valued yourself based on guilt from past lives that's not even in this life. And all the subconscious material, you know, creating Taurus from a subconscious Scorpio place. You know, the Scorpio, like, you know, all the subconscious shit, creating and building your business, your life, your relationships, you know, projects and books and anything that you're doing, masterclasses, all from the subconscious crap that you're unwilling to look at and deal with. Or, you know, and it's because of the Virgo, because of like feeling like, oh my God, like this means XYZ. You know, if I get real about where I'm being a victim, then what does that mean about me? Because there's so much victim blaming and shaming in the culture. It doesn't even allow people to be real about the victim and then start to heal it. Because once you identify it, then you can heal it. And if you don't even identify it and face it, you can't heal it. And people like think that facing it is the healing. And it's like, dude, like, get out of that. Just be like, yeah, okay, I've got this pocket of victimhood going on. Okay, next step, let's move to the healing. And that's what I teach, because it's like, you don't have to sit there and wallow in it and like, oh my God, I've been doing this, I'm this horrible. No, you just identify it. The identifying mechanism is Gemini. You identify it so that you can actually work with it. Like if you don't identify the tree, then I can't find the maple syrup, you know, I got to know which tree is a maple tree. So that's all of this is. And to value yourself, to make amazing things in this world. And Taurus is about having, you know, it's about having. This is Taurus. Like, do you have, or are you in scarcity? So many people are in scarcity. We talked about very briefly about your money game, your money stories in your brain, all of the thoughts, all the money thoughts that you're letting your brain indulge in. Are you letting your brain indulge in scarcity, lack, money thoughts? And you're not supporting yourself. You're not investing in yourself and your mental health and your healing and your self-improvement. You know, Virgo is all about this self-improvement and serving humanity. If you're not investing in yourself, how can you coach other people? If you're not getting coached and you're not coaching your own brain and doing your own inner work, and a lot of you think you are when you're not. You know, meditation is not inner work. Meditation has its purposes, but meditation is actually about getting disidentified from all your thoughts and realizing you're not your thoughts. That's what meditation's about. Meditation's about starting to separate yourself from all the thoughts in there. You know, you can do all types of meditation, of course, about equanimity, about all different things, but you know, one of the deepest main things about all the like hundreds of types of meditations that I've tried and different walks of life, Vipassana and TM and all of these different types of meditations and meditations I've created, is it's about clearing your mind and letting the thoughts just go past, because they're never going to stop, and not thinking that those thoughts are you, not mistaking all these thoughts for some sort of truth. You know, don't buy into the bullshit of your own thoughts, question your brain, and question all your money bullshit, because how can you ever create great wealth and great prosperity for yourself in all ways, not just simply financially, but sexually and nurturing and relationships and the inner relationship to self and security and valuing self and having luxury, having things you want and need, and not equating that to something wrong or bad. So many of you equate that to, oh, and push away wealth. You push away wealth. You get to your ceiling, maybe you make 100K a year or 50K a year, or you know, $1 million a year, and you got to your ceiling and you're like, no, and I don't need more money, you say. But the more money you make, the more you have to develop yourself and do the inner work, and the more value you have to create for the world. So why don't you have a responsibility to create that value for the world if you have that genius within you? Don't you have a responsibility to bring the world, to bring us your genius? Like, we are missing your genius. We are missing your gifts if you don't bring them to the world. And if you're in a lack, you will not be in a 5D ascension reality. If you're in lack and money scarcity, you won't be in 5D. You know, you won't be creating from a flow joy. I talk about flow joy, and it's this flow where you're just joyful, where you're honoring joy and trusting joy to lead you to the money. And this is something that all women have to dewire. Like, we got to dewire our flow joy, because we are programmed by the culture, the industrial fascists, that want people enslaved on an assembly line. And you can call that the Amazon assembly line that travels everywhere. You can call that the factory assembly line of any given factory. And those jobs are slowly being replaced by robots, but on and on and on. You know, any worker bee type of scenario that, you know, that they want you on an assembly line, you know, enslaved for their profit, their bottom line. And people call that a job. You know, there's this old self-development guy, and he would talk about how, like, the number one thing he figured out, and you know, from an early age, luckily, was that, you know, you can't do anything and create wealth from getting good at a job. But if you get good at self-improvement, then you can create anything you want in your life. And that's what this is. You know, Venus and Virgo is a self-improvement mechanism, but how are you using that to guilt yourself, to punish yourself, to self-abuse, to put yourself down, to negatively self-analyze, negatively self-talk, to use it as an excuse to not take action? I don't deserve it, I'm not worthy, because Taurus is all about worthiness and deserving and having. And so I hope that this eclipse has helped you. I think there might be a couple other things I just want to say. You know, really look at your comparison and how you compare and despair, because social media, we have to remember, social media, when you're on it, like, are you just looking at what everybody else is doing? Because that will skew your brain. This is scientific, you know, this has been researched and scientifically proven. Like, 25 minutes on social media, you're seeing 1 million people's greatest moments, and it, like, does something to your brain. It almost makes them into one person. Like, this one person is great at everything in life and I suck. You know, it's like, be aware of your social media use and times, particularly if you're a business owner, you're using social media for business, you're on there a fair amount. So it's like, you know, you can schedule it, you can use programs, you can do other ways of doing it. So be aware of this compare and despair. A couple other last things I'll point out. I pointed out the sesqui squares and the semi squares, that, you know, this is wanting us to adjust, like everything I was saying. You know, it's wanting us to cut away from our old dynamics and patterns. And you know, the sun has this trine to Pisces, to Saturn and Pisces. Society built from soul. You know, it could be society built from delusion, and a lot of people are under a huge delusion. Neptune's been at home in Pisces since 2012. A lot of the population is in fantasy land and romanticizing, idealizing, and in this ultimacy, the ultimate dream, the whole goat bullshit, you know, the greatest of all time, the ultimate, you know, it's just such Neptunian bullshit projection. It's not true, it's fantasy. But for people, the fantasy is easier, or it's the hell they know instead of the unknown. But I'll tell you, it's not it. It's fake. It's not real. But we can convince ourselves the fantasy is real, and we can convince ourselves it's good. And so the Saturn is the society, you know, are we going to spiritualize? And so many of us are bringing the soul and redoing society, and this is ruled by Neptune, so there is going to be the fantasy and the ultimacy going on. So these are the important points about this eclipse. I'm going to get into the sun sign horoscopes. If you would like to book an astrology reading with me, you can do that at Empowered Women, plural, rise, rise.com, empoweredwomenrise.com. You can go there, you can see my astrology page, you know, my pictures on there, just so you know the correct website. My pictures on there, you'll see my purple hair. And you can look at all my testimonials from other clients, and I talk about some amazing things on my astrology page. And you can also download my free astrology mini course there as well. And I am doing a pick your price astrology reading. I don't know if this will come out in time, but just in case, I'm doing a pick your price astrology reading that I've been doing all summer long. It's ending on the 16th, y'all. So I would get in on this pick your price astrology reading now while you can. And then you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com to book that. If you've been really wanting to deep dive into getting coached, you can go to the same website to book a discovery call for one-to-one coaching, or you can come into my monthly coaching program, Light Goddess. So I'm sending you I'm sending you some good vibes and some encouragement and some, you know, just encouragement and upliftment that when you do the healing, it's worth it. It's worth the heaviness. It's worth going through the darkness, and it doesn't last forever. And I do, like, my whole thing is I didn't want to be healing forever. Like therapy, like for 10 years, like, aren't we like doing anything? You're not doing anything if nothing's working and you're not getting anywhere. And I'm not about just sitting around and processing forever. I'm about, like, let's get it done, because I wanted to heal to be able to accomplish my dreams. I didn't want to sit there and be doing that forever. So anywhere I can hack the system without spiritually bypassing, I do it. And I found the things that work. So you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com to do that. If you loved anything in this first part of this video, please like it. I appreciate you texting it to a friend or letting someone know about it and sharing it, so this YouTube channel can grow, so that I can put more amazing content out for you. I love it here so much. And in part 2, we're going to get into the sun sign horoscopes with the oracle card reading for all 12 signs. And listening to this front half will allow you to get into that so much deeper. So let's get into your individual astrology readings for this mega lunar. Okay, we're going to do Aries. And then just a last thing before we get into all signs, if you do your rising sign, it's your natal chart. If you do your sun sign, it's a solar chart, and it's a really good chart with great information on it. I like to combine both and look at my rising and my sun, because it gives me such beautiful information about where this is happening in my life combined together. You'll really have a deeper understanding of your chart. And then, as usual, watch the first half, because it'll actually make this deeper, because I don't reiterate all of that information here. Aries, this eclipse with Aries, you know, it's always correlated to the houses. And And so this eclipse happening in your second house eclipse here with Uranus and Jupiter expanding this energy, wanting us to learn and to really get this deep archetype. And so it's all about money. It's all about having, it is all about, you know, what value are you bringing to the world? Are you valuing yourself? Are you loving yourself? And it's so deeply what I was talking about earlier with all of this Mars and Mercury and the Sun in the 8th house of sexuality, of deep romantic partnerships, of marriage, or, you know, lifelong partnership with people. And it's so much about your deep psychological subconscious, and how are you going to move through your obstacles and blocks? How are you going to heal the subconscious patterns? And are you going to see this world through a spiritual lens? This ruler of this eclipse is in your 6th house, all about lifestyle and your life force energy and healing and your health and your day-to-day work-a-day life. Is it set up the way you want? Is your lifestyle the way you want? There's a deep internal questioning of that with this eclipse for you, and has to do with your joy in the work you do and making money, and in like valuing yourself. Like, if you're not living the life you want every day, do you feel valuable? If you don't feel valuable, do you create a lifestyle that you actually want to live, or do you keep making excuses that you supposedly have to live a lifestyle you don't really want to live? You know, and the same with the semi-square to the Sun here. Very much like, do you shine? Do you take, you know, the strength of your will to overcome your issues, to make your goals happen, to make your destiny happen? Like, if you don't have a lifestyle that supports that and nurtures that, or if you use your lifestyle as an excuse so that you can't do that. Pluto in your 10th house of careers, wanting you to evolve and step out there, take up space, and overcome the inner shit that's stopping you from doing that, Aries. You know, this is a time to get deeper into the truth of what you know you're here to do. Let's pull you some cards, Aries. What wants to come up for Aries? I've not shuffled these in a while. Gosh, it's been a while since I worked with cards. All right. Not that long, but but when it's usually every day. So you, the muse. Aries, this card is about understanding that your own inspiration, that the fire must come from within you and burn from within you, not about whether your audience is growing fast enough or people are approving of you or applauding you. It's got to be from within out, because you can't ever control the outer circumstances. And when you can't control that, but you're wanting that validation to make art and to create your business and to make something in the world, it's never going to work. It's never going to function that way. It's about you being understanding what your inspiration is. You know, how do you deal with the ideas that you have? How do you make them into art? How do you make them into tangible products and services and existing content in the world? It's wanting you to connect with your joy and get on the floor and roll around and stretch and dance and do the things that help you to create your ideas into tangible form, to be the muse yourself, to let the muse dance you. You know, stop trying to color in between all the lines of how it looks to be professional or organized or all this bullshit, and do things your own unique way. You know, how much of your life have you spent embracing your uniqueness, and how much of your life have you spent trying to fit in? Really big difference here, Aries. Integrate your knowing, which is all about this feminine of understanding everything that you learn, everything that you've done, all the books you've read, all the workshops you've done. Bring them together and act upon them. Applicationally apply it to your life. Knowing doesn't do anything. You got to do your insights. You can't just have the insights and get high off spiritual downloads. You got to do your insights. This is all about creativity, this reading for you. And fill your cup up with sacred giggles. What did I say? Like joy, you got to have joy in your life. And are you coming from joy? Most people are coming from the industrial fascist programming of work, 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 grind, 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 hustle, hustle. And it is in there so deeply in so many different layers and crisscrossing patterns and layers that it's internalized, because we've grown up in this culture being inundated with these programs, that it is a job to keep pulling these programs out and to keep dismantling them from within us. I have been working on this for 4 years to dismantle that programming, to work from joy, to believe that I get to go for a walk in the middle of the day, to believe that I'm a professional no matter how I work, that I love paper and I love voice memos and I love doing it in all different unique ways. I love whiteboards and I have my own unique creativity, my own unique way to organize that wouldn't work for a CEO of a corporation. It wouldn't work for a typical corporation in the world. It wouldn't work for, you know, for most people. It works for me. And I've had to do that. And actually, I just realized that this card is not like fill your cup up with sacred giggles as the wrong card, but it's coming from joy. But this is fall in love with your own story is actually this card, but it obviously wanted to come through. And what it's wanting you to do is to start honoring your path in life and seeing, why did I have this path in life? All of the challenge, pain, loss, and struggle that you've been through is your PhD. It's your in the field work. It's like when a doctor starts actually working, and they call it something. I can't remember what they call it, but when doctors stop, studying in school and they actually start working on the floor and they're actually treating patients and behaving like a real fully certified doctor, whatever you call it for them. But they call it something specific. It's this time period where they're learning and working on the job. It's on the job learning, in the field learning. And everything you've been through in your life is about what you can offer the world to alchemize that into the value that you bring the world. It's your wisdom. So fall in love with all of the things that you've been through and alchemize them for the magic and the wisdom that you get to have. All right, Aries, sending you so much love. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading for that sale, or to book an astrology reading if it's after the 16th, go to empoweredwomenrise.com. Sending you lots of love. Taurus, first house eclipse for you. Opposite that 7th house with the sun, Mercury, and Mars there. And the ruler of this eclipse, Venus conjunct Lilith. All about subservient, our own power, equality in relationship, valuing ourselves. Sesqui square this moon and semi-square the sun. This, first house is about your appearance, your identity, how you think of yourself, how you deal with threat. Are you triggered by threat and you get mad and you lash out and you blame and project and won't look inside at all? Or do you run and hide and isolate and over isolate? And it's this misapplication of this mechanism of trying to protect yourself. And so this is so much about the identities that you have maybe already shed. This is eclipse cutting away from identities that are no longer serving you anymore. Maybe you took on identities of ADHD or PTSD because it helped to know what the hell was going on. But at some point, it just becomes an excuse, or it just becomes a reason why you don't do things, or it just becomes, a way to explain why you're not where you actually want to be, instead of actually helping you. It's not helping you anymore. Instead, can you take on the identity of a creator, or the identity of a singer, songwriter, or of a powerful feminine entrepreneur, or a change maker, a world shifter? I'm a paradigm shifter. A lot of coaches call themselves thought leaders. Fuck being a thought leader. I am a paradigm shifter, and I have been since I was very young. I provoke people to get out of the programs and out of their old paradigms. And often they hate me for it, but it's a seed that grows. And I'll tell you, I've seen so many people bloom because they got woken up out of those boxes and those programs and spells. So what are the identities that you want to take on? And what are the identities that's time to drop, time to be done with? And this eclipse might be shedding them quick for you. And it might be a nice integration and culmination because you've already done that and you just really get it. And, you know, the sun here in the 7th house of relationships, of overcoming the obstacles and blocks in relationships, which is a lot about that Taurus internal world, your internal world, you valuing yourself at the deepest levels and you being self-sufficient and self-reliant to provide yourself whatever it is, whether it's sex, you know, with self-pleasure, whether it's nourishment and comfort or connection, because you can connect to your own self, or you can connect to your guides, or you can connect with artwork or a book or your animals if there's not other people there. Or you know, Taurus is all about self-sufficiency, being self-reliant. It's not reliant upon the other person, even though it's nice. So it's like overcoming and transmuting any of your blocks, any of the subconscious issues in relationships that have been holding you back from bringing your genius to this world. Ruled by Venus here, conjunct Lilith, in your 5th house, about standing on stage and bringing your gifts to the world. So there's this deep internal analyzing mechanism, the self-improvement, but it could be that are you holding yourself back from bringing your gifts to the world? Are you holding yourself back from taking your will to create your destiny and to align that with something that is needed in society? And that's what this 5th house is about. And, you know, Venus here could be having all this guilt, so she doesn't do it, or she could be really, you know, spinning in your mind about all the ways that you supposedly suck. You know, that's not the way to use this Venus. This Venus is where you want to clear any guilt you find, and you want to like be on a search and destroy mission for guilt. Get it out of there, man. Stop running from guilt. And you know, this could, and guilt is sneaky. It wears many costumes, just like fear wears many costumes. So it's a matter of identifying it first. So start seeing where you're like, oh, I felt guilty because I didn't call my friend back. Oh, I felt guilty because I didn't take out the trash. Or, oh, I feel guilty because, you know, whatever. But start to identify it first. Also realize that this humility and serving humanity, and to do that, you have to value yourself and to come from within, from this place of deep self-love and self-value. It can always go deeper. To make more money, you have to value yourself at a higher level. That's Taurus. You have to value yourself at an even higher level. And so this Venus is saying like, yeah, we can do it with humility, but we don't have to keep holding ourselves back and putting ourselves down. Pluto in your 9th house of being an expert. You know, Pluto's not going to be here long, just until January. It'll pop back and forth next year, but just until January, it'll be here in your 9th house about being the expert and bringing your expertise to the world. But it's also about natural law and about your belief system. So Pluto is in your 9th house, cleaning up and showing you all your crappy beliefs that are holding you back. And with this square, this T square to the nodes, you know, there's this lack of maybe having, you know, an understanding about the world that is coming from, you know, the more equal belief system that's really settled. You know, it's like you're basically clearing out old beliefs. Pluto's showing you the shitty beliefs that aren't helping you, but are you seeing it and willing to shift it? All right, let's go to your card reading. All right, Taurus, you got move beyond intention to belief. What this is talking about is that we have these intentions, we set these goals in place, we have these nice visions, dreams, insights, but then we have to focus to fruition. We can get caught up in the energy of shooting too many arrows at too many targets, and not just, you know, focusing on one target. We can and get really caught in this, not believing. It's like, okay, you have the intention to do it, but then do you believe you can? Are you doing the inner work to clear out the obstacles that are causing you to not take action? Because I don't believe we just don't take action for no reason. It's because of the shit in our psyche. I'm never about blaming people. Like, so many people call people lazy and all these things. And it's like, gosh, guys, we need to actually be a little more kinder and gentler to ourselves and just do the inner work, but nobody knows how to do it. And that's what I'm working on changing with my work. So befriend the word polarize is very much talking about holding two disparate things, the darkness in the world and all the goodness in the world, the 5D world happening right here alongside the 3D world, the depravity in the world and the most amazing spiritual heights that we can reach. Understanding that people have shadow and light within them, that good people have fucked up darkness, weird behaviors and shitty behaviors in them, and dark people do good, positive, helpful things. It's just the way it is. And it's like integrating that until it just becomes like, yep, okay, that's just what it is. And it takes time to integrate that stuff. It can feel heavy for a little while when you're integrating polarities like that. And so if you can bring that in, it's wanting you to not be stymied by those things like that. Nourish the sacred feminine. It's like, are you a fully resourced woman? Is your feminine, that deep internal self, is the internal part of you nourished? Do you have stillness? Do you have stimulation? Do you have self-pleasure? Do you have time for you to just sit and let your mind go on all the things in the middle of the day, to let it process out some of the excess stuff? Do you have enough connection, but like from an internal place of deep bonding from within, not just from the external high, mental energies? This is wanting nourish. Look at the colors, look at the vibe of the card. It's wanting you to nourish the sacred feminine with baths in nature and walks and play and joy and fun and movement and dance and chanting and singing and all the things that lift you up. Maybe that list is not even close to what actually helps you get centered and grounded and going within, but knowing what does work for you, it's wanting you to do that. All right, Taurus. One step ahead is all you need. So you don't have to focus on the bigger, larger vision, or you can know the bigger, larger vision and put it on the target. And it's like, good, okay. But now we just have to take one step at a time, shoot one arrow at a time to reach it. All the rest, worrying about all the rest, won't help you in this now moment. So sending you lots of love. If you'd like to book a Pick Your Price astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. And that sale is only going until the 16th. And I do have sliding scale options for people that have financial difficulty, just so you know. And then please like this if you got something out of it. Really appreciate it. Sending you so much love, Taurus. Gemini. 12th house, eclipse for you. Big things. Big things are small things are big things. This Taurus energy happening in your 12th house, it's been wanting you to liberate from past life karmic momentum and, past life traumas and fears. The past life fears can be really surprising. When I started realizing I was having fears and traumas and energetic stuff in this life that had nothing to do with this life, it was really like, wow, I had to process it and be like, this is really not from this life. No, wait, this is really not from this life, because I could get it at a conceptual level, but when I kept understanding it deeper and deeper, processing it in my body at an experiential level, it was just so mind-blowing that it's like, this is really past life gunk. This is also things in the psychic energetic realm. I know that a lot of clients I work with have fear and feminine fear of and PTSD responses like fight or flight or freeze, appease or fawn. Those PTSD responses to energy, to other people's energy. They have that response to other people's energy. And so are you valuing your energy, your psychic world? Are you putting the boundaries in place? Are you managing that, clearing that, taking care of that part of yourself? Are you healing that part of yourself and valuing yourself from that level? Also, what are you doing with your psychic energetic realm? And this is what this is about. This Taurus area of money, having, making, it's about this area of your life to make sure you're energetically pure and clear, make sure you're doing the clearing work to take good care of yourself, work in those realms and start to perform the magic in those realms so that you can make it tangible and real, and start to work with the past. This Sun and Mars and Mercury and this 6th house for you about tangible reality, that there are deep psychological subconscious things that want to move out. Mars wants to get to the core of it so it can take action to get rid of the blocks. And Mercury's thinking about all the deep inner subconscious stuff. This season of the Sun here is wanting to move through this. This eclipse is cutting away from old energetic patterns that are holding you back, the fears of other people's energy, valuing yourself at the highest levels. Taurus can really help you to not take on other people's energy and to deflect it better. And this Venus in your 4th house of inner security and emotional security is maybe looking at all your faults when you should be really celebrating and seeing how steady you are within. Like, how emotionally solid are you? Do you work with your emotions? How much inner security do you have, or do you base your security externally? This Venus here is wanting you to have equality within your family. It's wanting you to own your power within your emotions, and it's wanting you to rise up into understanding that this is this place where Venus is wanting you to own your power and your internal security and stop basing it on externals. Pluto in your 8th house of sex and of the deep subconscious realms and of holding dark and light, of overcoming the obstacles and blocks. It's showing you all the obstacles and blocks so that you can then take action. We can't take action on them unless we identify them. And so this is deeply about this healing. It's the 12th house and 8th and the 4th. It's this water trine. This eclipse is wanting you to heal so that you can have the lifestyle 6th house that you really want. The Sun here, you can't really have the lifestyle in the day-to-day life that you really want if there's these subconscious patterns and emotional security is all based externally. This is about making you stronger. Remember, Uranus is here. It's wanting you to have more freedom, and we're not free as long as we're fretting or basing our inner security on house and money and status. And as long as we're fretting over relationships and other people, as long as we're beating ourselves up or putting ourselves down or never celebrating or honoring our wins, we're not as liberated as we could be. We're not as free as we could be. You got one step ahead is all you need, Gemini. Gemini can be tangential. It can be all over the place. It can be really distracted by shiny things, it can be chasing after every interesting thought and idea, and that has its place, but it's wanting you to focus on one step at a moment to quell that anxiety. The edge of evolution feels messy, so understanding that it's supposed to be an art piece, a masterpiece. It's supposed to be messy. You're supposed to get paint everywhere, paint on your shirt. If you know a real painter, I've known a real painter that had huge installations in museums in New York, and, you know, was commissioned for these huge pieces, and she had paint on her clothes, like her nice clothes and things. It was just a part of who she was. You know, evolution is messy, that when things are right, it actually can feel very not good. When you're doing the right thing for yourself and your own inner security and your own growth and your own path, it can feel really unstable. It can not feel right. It can feel like you're being wrong, you're doing wrong. When you're speaking out and speaking up, people can get really upset, and it can feel like you're doing the wrong thing when actually you're doing exactly the right best thing. But, you know, understand that it feels like everything maybe is falling apart, you've lost the plot, when it's right on track. It's removing all the stuff that actually isn't in alignment, but it seems like the whole thing's just falling apart. I promise you the pieces will come back together. So don't be as scared of that disillusionment. You know, it's a 12th house. It can feel like everything's dissolving and you're dissolving into nothingness, but really you're just merging back into source, so everything can fall together again in a more beautiful, more clarified way. That fierce serenity of protecting your inner peace, protecting your joy, protecting your inner world, that is this foundation of always having your own back, always being there for yourself, always able to handle any emotion that you're feeling, anything that's coming up, any challenge, any person that's coming across your path and what's happening, because you cultivate this fierce, like, protection of your inner space must be taken care of. And that probably requires, you know, for you, what does that require? Good food, good sleep, comfortable, you know, clean clothes, things organized, you know, the animals or the kids taken care of, things like that really allows us to have that fierce serenity. But it's also being clear that it comes from within. So what do you need to do to make sure that you have that? Is it journaling time, meditating time, thinking time, etc., walking? So, all right, Gemini, I'm sending you lots of love. If you'd like to book a Pick Your Price astrology reading, the sale is still going on until the 16th. You can go to empoweredwomenrise.com, or I will have sliding scale fees for people with financial difficulties as well. And if it's after the 16th, and if you like this video, please like this and share it. I really appreciate it. If you subscribe, you'll be notified whenever the bi-monthly updates come out. I'm sending you lots of love, Gemini. I don't really like how this is functioning. Okay. Cancer, this full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 11th house of people and building your audience, of friendships, of groups, collaborations, and of connecting, you know, of sacred activism and connecting your mission and your sacred calling to a need in society, a need for humanity. For me, you know, it's kind of like a duh, it's kind of like a given. It's like, yeah, it's all I'm doing is helping humanity, like, hello, you know. But it can get really nuanced. It can get nuanced in a way that you don't realize, that, like, you know, are you wanting to have the money and everything because then you'll be seen as great? And that's kind of leaving out this whole doing something for humanity, that it's like, oh, I want to have the money and everything, so then I can just spend all my time creating value for the world. You know, it's just a little nuanced tweaks like that can make a huge, massive difference of removing blocks. This can actually remove blocks that you're having. So just small reorientations within can be big. And this Scorpio over here in this 5th house of your special destiny, your unique gifts that you're here to bring to the world, that to remove these blocks, I would really think about reorientating to how this helps humanity and what your real drivers are. Is it from wanting to be known as the greatest and the talent, you know, getting in the book, you know, Guinness Book of World Records, to be seen as the greatest because then you'll be special? Or where is it coming from? You know, the wounds, or for something that's truly helping humanity? This eclipse is wanting you to connect into that sacred activism, something for the higher good, for the collective, and connect into what it means to bring your gifts to the collective. To do so means that you're going to need to really transmute some blocks here in this of feeling confident, feeling self-assured, feeling certain within yourself. And you're going to have to face that inner security. This Venus and Lilith are in your third house of your mind. Are you doing thought management, and or are you letting your mind puppet you around? Are you indulging in shitty thoughts? Thoughts create feelings, feelings drive behavior. Are you indulging in shitty thoughts that get you the results that you don't want in life? Because our thoughts always end up in a result line. So I teach this work and how to do this thought work and Light Goddess monthly coaching. So if you'd like to come in there, you can learn this and really step into a really high level of empowerment by doing this work, because this is your third house of mindset, how you perceive things, how you see the world, it's your local environment, it's your siblings, and this is this Venus archetype of wanting to improve upon things, but it can be over analyzing to death. It can just be calling you wrong, and it can be using all of that to be a great big excuse for not actually actualizing on your purpose. This Pluto here in your seventh house of relationships is showing you all the issues, all your insecurities, fears, and doubts, so that you can transmute them, so that you can alchemize them and heal them, and really actually get real and work with them to heal them. This is huge positive movement forward. Let's pull you some cards. Cancer. This card wanted to come up, follow through. It's wanting you to take your beautiful insights and your projects and the things that you've started and focus to fruition, move it all the way through to completion. It's very clear. What do you need to do to be able to do that? Maybe you need to get things organized. Maybe you need to be fully resourced as a woman. Maybe you need to get some pleasure, some play, some stillness, get a good night's sleep. Maybe you need to take care of a cold that's coming on. Maybe you need to get the kids some childcare, or get away to a weekend retreat where you're just getting that project done for yourself. What do you need to do to make that happen? It's balance here. Balance is about micro course corrections constantly. When you're driving, it's not static. You're constantly moving the steering wheel, these small little bits, but you don't notice it anymore because it's just autopiloted. You just know how to drive. And the same is true with balance, that when you're in balance, how do you know that? When do you feel in balance? When do you feel like you're solid? I really like to think of balance as a feeling of solidness. And you actually got the fill your cup with sacred giggles card, but it's in a protection message. So it's saying you're not getting enough play and joy and fun, and you can't have balance without having joy. And we are being schooled by the universe to ditch these programs, which is not an easy thing to do. We're just doing it one by one as you find it in your psyche, starting to dismantle these programs from within us, because they are crisscrossing and layered, that we need to work hard and hustle and grind and massive action bullshit. It's inspired action from joy. It doesn't mean you don't take action when you're not feeling joy. You know, we have to be able to run a business and take care of children and have a life, but it means that we're taking care of our joy and feeding our joy and making that a priority in our life, where, you know, that's not how people lived for the last 6,500 years for the most part. It's not the average person. You know, it might be, you know, billionaires and millionaires might be, but are they really? You know, because it's just, so it's understanding how important that is. There's a protection message here, so some energy clearing could be really beautiful to help you clear that out. All right, I'm sending you lots of love, Cancer. You got this. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, you can do that on empoweredwomenrise.com. That's women plural with the E, and rise, RISE.com. And you can get that sale until the 16th. After that, I will have some sliding scale options for people with financial difficulties. But if you liked this video, please like it and share it. And I'll see you next time, Cancer. Lots of love. Leo, this is happening in your 10th house of career, sacred mission, sacred calling, taking up space in the world, this Taurus energy of really being able to stand in your value and your expression to the world. This is, how you appear to the public. So are you coming from this place of valuing? Are you coming from this place of lack and unworthy and not deserving? Are you creating value for the world? Like, is this a sacred calling or a sacred mission, or is this just a job? And is this just paying the bills, and it's just getting by, and it's just making you money, but it's not really about anything of higher calling? And do you feel this sense of security or lack? Remember, security is usually where we are backsliding, playing small, not growing, not evolving. It's not usually actually anything that's secure at all. So it's just creating the same old patterns. The Scorpio sun and Mercury and Mars is in the 4th house of self-image, and there's deep subconscious issues with self-image and inner security and emotional security. What's holding you back there? How can you start working with that and healing that? Is there a culmination and you feel like you've really done the work and you're getting this payoff of this deep explosion in your career, and things are moving powerfully forward, and you know what you're doing and things are on track? But there is these difficult aspects to Venus, the ruler of this eclipse, that's wanting us to adjust things, cut away things, and shed old self images that aren't helpful, things that are limiting or blocking our inner sense of security, and to really look at our values, and if we are in a having state of mind. This Pluto and the 6th about our lifestyle, very much, are you having the lifestyle that you really want to live? Are you doing the business or the work or the career that you really, that values you, that honors you, that brings your genius forward? Are you under, have you healed so much stuff so you're really in that place and you're developing, growing, and upgrading? Or are you really kind of letting the deep traumas and subconscious wounds or childhood stuff or deep fears hold you back from really creating the lifestyle that you love? Pluto's bringing up the secrets about what you really want in your lifestyle. So it's a deep eclipse, cutting away from old patterns and things. Bliss is worth creating from, Leo. Really getting out of that industrial fascist work, grind, hustle, massive action bullshit, and getting into inspired action from joy. It doesn't mean you don't take action when you don't feel joy, but it means reorienting inside of yourself to come from that place instead of this, I gotta get it done and pushing and it's when you come from that kind of place, the days just go by and the tasks just one by one, they pile up and you do them, and there's no life. You're not alive, you're not living, you're just a robotaton. So not coming from joy is about being alive. Coming from joy is about being really truly alive and living in the experience of your life, habitating your life itself. Ambush fear with ferocious dreams, meaning that your vision is bigger than any fear, overcomes the fear. You persevere through fear and doubt and anxieties because that vision is so big to you, because it's so ambitious. It's so, you believe in it so much. You have unwavering belief in yourself and your vision and what you're doing. And that can wax and wane. I always find that it's just releasing emotions that are needed to be able to get back into that steady determination of being on vision. So if you want to learn those skill set, you can come into Light Goddess, my monthly coaching program. Pull you one more card. Is one step ahead is all you need. Don't let all of the big vision corrupt your now ability to take inspired action right now. Sending you lots of love. And if you'd like the book, Pick Your Price Astrology reading, that sale is going on until the 16th. You can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. That's women with the E plural, and rise, RISE.com. And there's always some sliding scale options for people with financial difficulties, so don't worry about that. If you could please like this video and share it with a friend, sending you so much love. Till next time. All right, Virgo. All right, Virgo. Happening in your 9th house. All about your belief systems, all about understanding your place in the cosmos at the greater, higher levels, understanding life from that perspective. And it's about being an expert, standing on stage in your business and owning yourself as the expert. So opposite this 3rd house of your mind and what's going on there subconsciously, all churning up from the deep subconscious, the way you're thinking. Are you indulging in shitty thoughts that are not allowing you to actually step out as an upgrade to the next level of being an expert? And what belief systems are you allowing to run the show of your life? You know, this is Taurus moon about your value systems. This is about clearing out and cutting away from old value systems that doesn't serve you anymore. This eclipse might be where you're really seeing how you have cleared out the stacks and you've cleared the decks of your beliefs systems and your beliefs and your value systems that don't serve you, that don't lift you up, that don't support you or value you, etc. And now you're seeing how your mindset is really powerful. You are using your thoughts on a daily basis to think deliberately, to create the life that you really want, and you're actualizing at the highest levels. This Venus in the 1st house is saying this is about your identity and who you see yourself as, how you're showing up in the world, how you deal with that. And there's a deep analyzing going on here to come from, you know, to improve upon something, but you got to be aware of the guilt and clear out the guilt around who you show up as, who you be. Are you showing up from soul, or is it from ego personality? Is it from the program status and all of that? I have Pluto here and the 5th house about standing on stage, bringing your gifts to the world, creating your goals with your own will to do so, you know, taking your special destiny to and creating that with your own will. And this Pluto in the 5th here is revealing the issues in all of that, and deep subconscious stuff will surface here for you with Mercury here and allow you to establish a higher belief system from a more healed place, from a more whole place. So really powerful, Virgo. Let's pull you some cards and create something beautiful. Give yourself a break and cut the cords of doubt. The sacred flow of yes. And 3rd card, I'm just going to pull them all. Distraction of shiny things. So it's wanting you to stop using all that guilt and doubt as an excuse to hold yourself back, to not upgrade to the next level of bringing your genius to the world and creation in your business and, you know, revenue, income creation. It's like we got to clear out that doubt to even be able to access it. So stop holding yourself back with your own fears and insecurities. Sacred flow of yes, of going with what you feel is right for you, especially if you get 3 hits on it. It's your future. It's telling you to go. But we step into that next level, we haven't been there before. We can just stop. We don't even necessarily recognize it when we're doing it. And then we can do distraction of shiny things to cope and buffer. And don't buffer with a million distractions and all these things and going out and doing all these activities. Get that thing accomplished that you're wanting to create and make in the world, because you will feel so good when you do, and then go out and have some fun. And I'm not saying don't come from joy, just being clear. Your cards are wanting you, though, to stop distracting yourself as a way to not make things happen and go with that flow of yes, go with that sacred like impulsion within you of knowing what your next step is. You know, there's some things I do in my business where I know I'm supposed to do it, and it takes me months to actually make it happen, because I have to unpack and unravel all the internal stoppages. And I used to make that wrong, but I was like, as long as I'm doing the inner work or I'm doing the work, if I'm doing one of them, then we're good. But, you know, but it was like just something in me would just stop. And I didn't even know I was stopped. I'd have to like recognize that I was not doing it first. You know, those insights come in because it's our magic. So you got this, Virgo. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. Women plural with an E, rise, RISE.com. And the pick your price astrology reading is going on to the 16th. And I have sliding scales for people with financial difficulty after that. Sending you lots of love. And if you could please like and share this video, really appreciate it, Virgo. All right, Libra. Libra, this is happening in your 8th house. All about sex, sexuality, all about deep intimacy, deep intimate bonds with your partnerships. Where are you at with that? This is an eclipse. It's cutting something away. Maybe the old patterns in that relationship that just weren't serving you guys anymore. You weren't showing up as your authentic self. They were, doing their Venus issues. You were doing your Venus issues. And now you've been healing and working through things, and you're ready to cut away from those old patterns and be no more, and to have almost a rebirth of your relationship. This is the house of death and rebirth. This is very much it could be a rebirth in your money situation, and how you look at the world, look at your resourcefulness, your own value, the value that you can create for the world, the amazing, projects and talents and gifts, and like whether you cut hair or whether you make intellectual property and courses, or whether you are a singer, what are you bringing to the world, and really looking at that in a new way, and in a deeper way. This Sun and Mars and Mercury here in the 2nd house of having, of self-love, of knowing what you have within you to make anything happen, whether it's knowing how to start a fire in the woods so that you can have marshmallows, or actually eat and you're camping and it's serious business, and you're actually on a mountain snow camping, and you need to make sure you're eating dinner for the night, and you have that skill set. Or whether it's something in your business, or a skill set in your relationship of listening and mirroring and with lovingly, whatever it is, it's understanding this. There's some deep subconscious stuff that wants to be, some blocks that want to be overcome here. There could be some money blocks here that have to be overcome for you to really step into this new place where you are coming from a deeper emotional intimacy with self and with others, that you actually have to overcome your money blocks. This is Venus in your 12th, ruling and sesqui-square to the moon and semi-square to the sun, and ruling this eclipse that is churning and doing this deep analytical deep dive on all of the stuff that's coming up psychically and energetically that you may not be aware of. So there's a lot of things coming into, a lot of energy coming from you, and a lot of stuff from past lives that's in your energetics. It's in the psychic realm. You could have had a lot of psychic abuse in past lives. In this life, it's the deep energetics of living and the intuitive realm. And Venus is there wanting to improve your skill set, wanting you to be more aware, heightening that self-awareness as a way for you to transmute the limitations and blocks. This may be a culmination where you're really feeling like, I have healed the money stuff and the money issues, but this Scorpio in the 2nd house is illuminating this and wanting you to merge and integrate these two archetypes, these archetypes of the Scorpio and this Taurus, and being able to work with these two archetypes of having and being fierce, being very self-reliant and independent, but being able to do that within a merged, deep, intimate bond with others. So really deep here, Pluto bringing up all of the insecurities, self-doubt, emotional issues, or places where you are relying on externals to feel secure, to feel like you have a solid base under your feet. It's going to show you all of that so that you can transmute that, and so you can heal those blocks, Libra. It's about healing it. And the more you deny it, it's a great excuse to not take action to your big purpose. But then you get to repeat this stuff next life. Choose who you are becoming, like really choose the identity that you want to be. Talk to your future self and have that conversation, and get your future self to inform you of your next steps, and what identity your future self has taken on, what success your future self has had, and let that inform you of the path from here to there. of who you are becoming. And maybe, you know, this card is really wanting you to understand that you can shed identities. This is an eclipse. It's cutting away, it's cutting off something. You know, we can be complete on an area of life, on patterns, on old issues. This can really be a culmination and a fruition time. You got creator fire and a protection message of taking action, being enthusiastic, being optimistic about the future. This is also necessary to create. We got to have that fire energy. We just can't have, you know, the other three elements and no fire consciousness. You know, it's a consciousness. These elements are, work with that fire consciousness and ask to commune with it and meditate with it and see if you can come up with a beautiful ritual or a way to connect with it. See what it wants to dance through you. Understand that, you know, gratitude again, like making a list of everything you love, going on a love rampage. You know, I love this and I love that. And I'm talking about in a way where you really can feel it in your body. Conceptually doing it, mentally doing it is not activating it in your body. You want to activate it in your body. Activate gratitude. I don't necessarily like gratitude. I like appreciation better. That one works for me. I like love. I can activate that. And working with animals is a great place to start if nothing's coming up or you're in a little bit of a dark spell. You know, work with animals or work with places where it's so easy to activate it in your body, not in your mind. And doing that will get you to higher levels of frequency, which will help you shed and alchemize all your wisdom from any sort of difficulties you might be going through right now, Libra. So sending you lots of love. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, you can do that. It's on sale until the 16th. You can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. That's women plural with an E, and rise, RISE.com. And I will also have sliding scale fees for those with financial difficulties after that. And please like and share this video. I appreciate you, Libra. Sending you so much love. Until next time. All right, Scorpio, this eclipse in your first house. That's not true. This eclipse is in your 8th house, and the sun is in your first, and Mars and Mercury are there. Venus is in your 11th, and this eclipse is in this 7th house of your relationships, and it's in this place of wanting you to be very clear about what relationships you're in that honor and value you. And are you in relationships where you don't value yourself? You're attracting people that don't value you and mirror that to you, and you're just letting that be? Or is there abuse? You know, what is going on here? You know, is there people taking advantage of each other? Have you actually done the work and you've shed the relationships that aren't valuing you? You have raised your value and you're continuing to do it because it's bottomless, and you no longer accept relationships that aren't lifting you up, supporting your success, wanting for your success, loving you, and where it can be reciprocal and so forth. Like, where are you at with that? Because this could be an amazing culmination, and this could be a cutting away of any patterns and old things within relationships that are no longer useful. This is really a completion of something. Not only is it the eclipse, but the 7th house is also a completion. And it's also very much this honoring different perspectives on life, but knowing your value system. This is a value system that's really coming from being just to yourself. Opposite the sun, Mercury, and Mars in the first, wanting you to transmute your blocks around how you look, your appearance, how other people see you, and just the triggers that are coming up about your sense of yourself, wanting you to transmute those, heal those. And the triggers are the doorways to the healing. So be willing to go in. The sesqui square and these semi squares are wanting to adjust to Venus, all about really clearing the guilt from relationships and friendships. And, you know, maybe you don't have time for friends in your life, or maybe you've changed and you are just different in your friendships because you've changed and you're filled in ways so you can't be there in friendships anymore. And maybe you can let them know, or maybe it's just altering and shifting. And it's going to take adjustments for you guys to really come to a new homeostasis in that friendship and relationship. But there's definitely a need for equality, and there's a need for you to stop letting people walk all over you, or doing everything for other people and not receiving for yourself. So really important. Pluto here, wanting you to really understand what's going on in your mind. What thoughts do you let your mind indulge in? Are you believing your thoughts as if they're truths? They're not truths. They're just thoughts. They're just sentences in your mind. And Pluto is going to show you this and allow you to up level there. Let's pull you cards, Scorpio. This card really wanted to come up. In balance, about the solidity. How do you know you feel balanced? When do you feel balanced? When do you feel solid? When you get a good night's sleep, when the house is kind of organized and clean, when you have good meals or pre-prepared, food in the fridge ready to go. So when you get hungry, you're not famished and eating junk food. What feels really good to you? And balance is often being in the extremes, because we're finding the middle place. So it's not fearing the extremes and understanding that's what it takes to know what balance even is. It takes getting off balance to know what balance is. Also, balance is micro pivots. It's constantly pivoting, small little micro course corrections frequently that helps create a homeostasis. It's never static, it's moving. Overrate your intuition. Are you running on the mind? And you saw Pluto was in the house of your mind. Are you managing your mind, managing your thoughts? I teach that work in my monthly coaching program, Light Goddess. So you can come over to empoweredwomenrise.com if you want to join us there and learn how to manage your mind. But also, it's talking about overrating your intuition. So it's learning the skill of intuition. And this is a skill. What I find is that I learned how to understand my intuition from everything else, and then also how to have my intuition become conscious enough where I could act on it in the moment by retroactively working with my intuition. So I wasn't able to at first catch it in the moment and act upon it and know that's what was going on. I would see it afterwards and I'd be like, okay. And then I would go back and retroactively go through that scenario and understand what happened. Did my mind swing in and just completely dismiss my intuition? Did I talk myself out of it and go into a dialogue about it? Should I not? Blah, 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 blah. And didn't realize, no, this is intuition. This isn't just a stray thought coming through. What happened? So I break it down. That way I know next time I'm more likely to catch it. And I kept doing that until I finally was able to make my intuition conscious in the moment. Here's the other thing about it. The universe gives you a ton of micro situations to help you learn the skill. So one day I'm in my bathroom, my computer's not going and the video isn't loading. My intuition came in, move your computer out of the bathroom, it'll hit the Wi-Fi, the video will load, and then move it back in. Well, I immediately was about to not listen to it and sit there and this should work and get frustrated. And I was like, oh, that was my intuition. And I quickly moved my computer out to be like, I heard you, and I'm listening. That's the micro kinds of scenarios where you can really learn this skill of putting your intuition, letting it be the driver's seat of your life. I have a beautiful technique that I teach in Light Goddess as well on that. So if you want to come into Light Goddess and learn that in my monthly coaching. And you got the card, cut the cords to doubt. This is your last card, Scorpio. It's wanting you to work on unwavering belief in yourself. It takes reprogramming your subconscious. It takes recognizing that it is doubt that's stopping you and counteracting it, arguing with it, talking back to it, changing that default thinking and saying, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Thinking on purpose, thinking deliberately, it really takes questioning that doubt and saying, no, I'm not going to not do what my purpose is anymore. So it's really like getting fierce and saying no more, but it's going to be over and over and over, progressively getting better at it. Sending you lots of love, Scorpio. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. That's women, plural with the E, and rise, RISE.com. And the sale is going on until the 16th. And then I'll have some sliding scale fees for people with financial difficulties after that. Sending you lots of love. Please like and share this video. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Eclipse for you is in 6th house. Sun, Mars, and Mercury in the 12th, and the ruler, Venus and Lilith, conjunct in your 10th house of career, sacred calling, and business, with the sesquisquares and semi-sextiles. And so much of this is about your lifestyle, what you really want for yourself at the highest levels, of how you want to live your life. Like what is the lifestyle that you really want to be living? And it's about your health and your day-to-day life, and if it is what you want it to be. And it's wanting you to bravely market yourself, wanting you to speak up for who you are, know who you are. This is the sun in the 12th of shedding the subconscious old blocks and obstacles from past lives, from subconscious shit, that you don't need to be stymied by that anymore. This is saying that, like, you can drop this stuff. You can drop the old patterns. They're not serving you anymore. You can drop the old ways of being in day-to-day life, or drop other people's ideas about how you should be professional or organized, etc. It's Venus is really churning and thinking about your sacred calling, your passion and your mission, and what you want to do in this life, and is wanting you to like deeply be focused on making that happen. But it's going to take removing the guilt and not feeling like identifying everywhere where there's pockets of guilt and issues. It's going to be not beating yourself up. Like, your mind is probably going to be churning and beating you up for not doing this in your business and not doing that. And it's going to take being really compassionate and being realistic about what you can actually accomplish, and stop trying to do it via somebody else's meter stick, somebody else's yardstick, and do it based on your own. That's the right one for you. Pluto in your 2nd, wanting you to understand what your scarcity mindset is, understand where you're not allowing yourself to have, where you're not having at the highest levels, and why not, where you're not valuing yourself. Pluto is revealing all of that to you so you can up level that. And definitely 12th house sun shining psychically and energetically takes being willing to go into those inner doorways and checking those out, like checking out, working with your feelings. So marketing yourself, really putting yourself out there, advertise your business, all the ways, learn things you don't know about marketing. If the old tried and true methods are not increasing your revenue, you need new methods. You need to understand lead flow. You need to understand how to do that. And this is about business inflow with money, that this upright card, that there's an abundance mindset, that there's an energy of having, there's an energy of belief in yourself. And so this is really positive, that you're creating money, you're in an abundance flow, everybody's getting balance. That's really fascinating. But it's you got this card in balance of feeling this solidity, that it's okay that there's extremes. That's how you find the middle. It's how you find the center. Understanding that balance is that it's about constant pivots and course corrections. Don't make them wrong. That's constant in business anyways. And are you really taking up space in this world at the highest levels? It's asking you to really take up space in the world, to believe in yourself. But it's balance, could be making sure you get enough sleep, good nutritious food, that the house is organized and clean, because that's going to set you up to be able to perform at the levels you want to perform at, and really do that self-talk that is positive and kind and loving. So sending you lots of love, Sagittarius. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading under that sale, it's going on until the 16th. Or I have sliding scale fees for those of you with financial difficulties after that. And you can book on Empowered Women with the E plural rise.com, empoweredwomenrise.com. And please like and share this, Sagittarius, and I'll see you on the next reading. I do bi-monthly updates every month. All right, let's get into it. Capricorn. So for you, this is happening in your 5th house of making your destiny happen. You taking your own will, not asking spirit to bring it to you. Where's it at, spirit? Why aren't you bringing it? Please help me with this. It's like, no, taking the strength of your own will to create it, not waiting for it to just land, but it's you making it happen by taking inspired action. But this comes with, it comes from confidence, it comes from belief in yourself, it comes from enthusiasm and that fire energy and that belief in the future, the optimism about the future. And this could also be, an eclipse that has to do with your kids or romance. So be aware of that. So much is happening here with this 5th house for you. It's a cutting away of old patterns that no longer serve you, that were keeping you from bringing your gifts to the world. And are they aligned to social activism, to something that's helping humanity? For many of us, that's just a given. It's kind of like a duh, I don't have to think about it. So what that means, though, is that you have to do it in greater nuances, at more nuanced levels than you were considering. Maybe it's kind of like, duh, of course I'm helping humanity, that's all I'm doing. But for many clients, they're still blocked because there's just still another tweak to the orientation within themselves, that you're not doing it for applause or approval, but you're doing it to see this beautiful effect and positive change in humanity, this change in the world, etc. Something that helps humanity. And so it can't be for ourselves only. It can't be for us at the top of a pyramid, and otherwise we get to come back and do some more karma. So this is a really beautiful thing here with the sun opposite opposite this moon in this 11th house, again, but that sacred activism. And this is, removing any subconscious issues with building an audience or friendships, other, people, where, getting out with people, networking, building relationships is how you do business. You build relationships, and they're authentic and they're genuine, and that takes effort and time and energy, and what's holding you back from that. And, Scorpio here, there's some blocks to overcome. Could be subconscious wounding, could be past life stuff. Pluto's here in your 1st house, bringing up the secrets of your identity, where you don't feel secure about how you look or who you are, or the identities that you have of mother or business owner or strong feminine leader, whatever it is. And Pluto's letting you know about it so you can adjust and to shift that. You can overcome this. You are capable of moving through this. You are powerfully capable of orientating yourself from a place of joy and purpose and mission and drive, and overcoming any sort of limitations and blocks here, Capricorn. You can do this. And this Venus in the 9th is wanting you to stop beating yourself up, and don't use that as a guilt as an excuse, and to shed any guilt around being a leader, around your belief systems. It's wanting you, Venus is in your belief systems, like deeply roto-rooting, like looking, analyzing, wanting to improve them. Like, are they right? Are they wrong? Blah, 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 blah. And so it's like, really adjust and see if the belief systems you have are supporting the life you really want, and supporting bringing your gifts to the world. You got this unstuck the stick. Let's see what this is about, Capricorn. I didn't get that sense in your astrology reading. I sort of got, it's about this doubt and holding yourself back. And so, yeah, I mean, 5th house, it's a house of confidence. It's a house of self-certainty, self-assuredness. It's the Leo house. It's a fire house. It's the thing about Leo is Leo, in the unconscious way, in the unconscious expression, is narcissism, right? And I'm talking about actual narcissistic personality disorder, not using that word as an adjective. I don't do that because I want to be very clear about, I'm talking about really narcissism. That's the unhealthy expression of Leo. That's why Virgo is after Leo, to humiliate the ego so it'll develop humility and not be all these narcissists in the world. But the thing is that Leo is that we can learn a lot from narcissists and understand that, like, you need to step into confidence. You need to believe in yourself. You need to think you're awesome. And narcissists do that. And, it's like we can actually learn something from narcissists, empaths and healers, and so many people that are not narcissists have all this imposter syndrome, all these issues going down, because you need to step into that. You're not going to come from a place that a narcissist is coming from. You're going to be coming from a different place within yourself. But you can really learn a lot by like knowing your value to that degree. Know your value. This is Taurus in your 5th house, owning your value. Do you own your value? Do you value yourself at the highest levels? And most people don't. And so it's a deep self-discovery in there. And you can release this doubt, Capricorn. You can release it. But the first step is identifying it. Come into my monthly group coaching program. We'll have so much breakthrough in there. The sacred flow of yes, about following your intuitions, following your little nudges, following your hints, following where your intuition is guiding you, especially if it's repetitive, flowing with your joy, flowing with that sacred energy in the universe, and co-creating and being on and really listening for where you light up, for where you feel happy, for where the light comes in, and quit following that program of the industrial fascists of work hard and massive action and blah, 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 blah. It takes time to deprogram these layers and crisscrossing spells that we've all been conditioned under. So you got this, Capricorn. Sending you lots of love. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com. That's women with the E plural, and rise, RISE.com. And you can get that sale until the 16th. I will have some sliding scale fees for people with financial difficulties after that. So if you are seeing this video after the 16th, don't worry about it. Just go check out the website, and please like and share this video. I'll talk to you next time, Capricorn. Sending you lots of love. All right, Aquarius, let's do this. So this moon is happening in your 4th house, all about inner security and emotional security, and all about your self-image and your family and your homes and your emotional seascape. And so important that we have a deep inner emotional security, that we really work with our inner seascape and know the ins and outs of it. And this is what allows us to have a true inner security that isn't based on money and cars and houses and relationships and status, but is actually based on just this sense within us that is a solid ground within us, that is so nurtured and fulfilled and fully in place. And so this Taurus is wanting you to use your resourcefulness to shore up any leakages here, and to know that you can create this for yourself, but stop relying on externals and get internal about it. Go within and see how resourceful you are, see how amazing you are, how capable you are, your unique gifts and talents, and take a look at those. And in this 10th house with the sun here and Mars and Mercury, you take that security, the inner security and your own resourcefulness and gifts to this 10th house of career and family, and taking up space, career and sacred calling and soul mission, and taking up space in the world. And it's going to mean that you have to overcome some Scorpio blocks and obstacles, but you can transmute those and alchemize any of the challenges to your benefit. Like, use it to help yourself. This Venus in the 8th house, it's all about, crisis and analyzing the crisis, which can give us paralysis, which we can use to make an excuse for not taking action. But we don't want to do that. We want to use the analysis to know what to improve upon, and then take the action to do it, and stop beating yourself up and stop putting yourself down. And you got to pattern interrupt that guilt and really step into this next highest level. That 8th house is like, you could have been emotionally betrayed or had, a misapplication of your trust. And so then you go to this extreme, and then you don't get with anybody and you isolate. That Venus is wanting you to kind of identify and understand what you're doing, so you can stop doing things that are to your detriment. If you didn't, apply your trust well in a relationship. It was a learning. And now it doesn't mean to go isolate yourself from everybody. You got to keep trying and keep learning the skill of who deserves your trust and who not. And you cannot learn except through experience. So we don't want to put the wrong solution to the right learning. So really powerful with Pluto here, wanting to, clean you up in this 12th house of past life, show you all the past life wounds and challenges, and show you your dreams in the psychic energetic realm, things that maybe need cleaned up there, and also your gifts, and download some stuff. And that will help you kind of know what to actualize on here. Let's pull you some cards, Aquarius. This manifesting and doing, it's a card that's saying, like, are you only manifesting and wishing and dreaming and intending and putting intentions out there and not taking inspired action? Or are you only taking lots of action and just forgetting spirit's, co-creative place in this whole equation, and forgetting your own, soul and guides place in this co-creation and the magic and being in the flow and being in the 5D and that joy flow, So it's wanting to make sure you're doing both, combine the two, assess yourself, see where you're at with that. Welcoming in the divine masculine, the divine masculine, the masculine in principle is all about the external, being motivated externally. It's in a protection message. So it's saying your external motivations need cleaned up. What are they based upon? Are they based upon status and money just for money's sake? That is not to do something, that serves humanity with it, to implement better value systems in the world with that money. Is it just for control and domination and power? Is it, status? Is it external? So other people will like you, or so you'll feel special. We've got to clean up that external motivation, and see what's really there, because it could be just programs or internalizations lurking, other people's opinions on the matter that got, that you took on that wasn't intentional, but now you're getting the chance to see it and clean it out. And, some energetic work could be really good about that, kind of clearing some past life stuff. You are living poetry. It's wanting you to honor the beauty of you and the uniqueness of you. How much of your life have you spent embracing your uniqueness, and how much of your life have you spent trying to fit in? This is a really provocative, important question. And you are an Aquarius, but if that's your sun, and you and you don't have very many other placements there, you probably have spent more of your life trying to fit in. And that Aquarius sun is life purpose. So it's about becoming the Aquarius, becoming individuated, becoming your unique individual self. And so living poetry, just think about poetry and how the poetry word is in cursive, this flowing magic, this beauty, like a great piece of music that's so uplifting, that's high frequency. It's that kind of thinking of yourself in that way. Like, spend a little self-reflection time pondering yourself as a piece of art, as a piece of poetry, as a piece of music, as some beautiful symphony or some beautiful dance. What if you are that, and get into that kind of energy and mindset and play with that a little bit and see where that takes you. Really beautiful. Definitely about honoring the beauty of you is that card. So if you'd like to book an astrology reading, you can book my sale, pick your price astrology reading until the 16th on empoweredwomenrise.com. That's women with the E plural, and rise 4 letters, RISE, empoweredwomenrise.com. And I have a sliding scale fee for those with financial difficulties after the sale. So go over there if you're listening to this after the 16th, and you can check it out. And if you could please like and share this video, I really appreciate it. If you subscribe, you'll get notified when the next astrology forecast comes out. I'm sending you so much love, Aquarius, until the next forecast. All right, Pisces, let's do this. Pisces, this moon for you is in your 3rd house of mindset. you worked on this a lot in 2022. And so this is an interesting eclipse. And I think this is really hearkening to a lot of the work that you've done and accomplished, really managing your brain. You've done thought work. You're doing it every day. You're not letting your brain indulge in shitty thoughts. You're seeing the crappy thoughts that are unintentional that come in, and you've done so much work that you're not letting them like puppet you around. And you're working on creating your life, deliberately thinking. And if you are new to that kind of work, then this is provoking you to cut away from the old excuses and then not managing your mind and being a victim in that way, and start taking agency over your mindset. For those of you that have been doing this work, and if you want to learn that work, you can come into my monthly coaching program, Light Goddess, and find out all about that on empoweredwomenrise.com. But for those of you that do this work and have been doing it, you are having this culmination. You're cutting away from really ancient patterns, and you're in this upgrade. You're in this new place of really being healthy and whole, and in a place of agency, in a place of empowerment. And it's just about now finding nuanced, it's more nuanced work. It's just that you just find new pockets of disempowerment, and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. It's not the big old gnarly work, because that's done now, right? And so it's the culmination, it's the gifts of this Sun and Mercury and Mars and Scorpio in the 9th house, wanting you to rotor your belief system's 9th house, so that you can stand on stage and be the expert in that 9th house, and put your unique concepts and ideas or teachings and learnings out to the world, to uplift more of humanity to come out of the disempowerment themselves. And so there's some subconscious beliefs here that could be cleaned up, taking a look at those, and that'll just allow and correlate to this 3rd house of the mind, just allow you to have even cleaner brain that you're working from on a moment-to-moment basis. This Venus here with these sesquisquares and semi-squares to the sun and moon in this 7th house of relationships, has been analyzing relationships, what people should do, how they should do it better, what you should do and how you should do it better. And it's clearing the guilt out. So either you've been doing that journey and you're clearing the guilt out and you're really taking action, or you're needing to begin doing that journey and understanding that. This is really the house of relationship and completions. So for many of you, there's a completion, there's a fruition here, there is a culmination. You are like getting the results from all of your hard work. It's like really powerful and amazing. And for some of you, this is so much about like beginning this journey and starting to understand in relationships, you got to stop beating yourself up, but who needs to go, who needs to stay? Are you valuing yourself at the highest level in relationships? Is your mind valuing you? Are your thoughts that value you or devalue you? Are your thoughts that love you and believe in you and support you and know that you can create it, and thoughts of creating value? Or are your thoughts doing the opposite of that? This is really important in this eclipse. Really hearkening to this is Pluto showing you everywhere where you kowtow to other people, where you're afraid to build your audience, or you're not relationship building and networking in your business, and where that's holding you back. Or for those of you that have been doing this work, this Pluto is now this evolution of this area of your life, and it's blossoming and blooming, and you're seeing the results, but it's wanting you to put the effort in. So you got to do that. Make sure you do that, but do it at your own pace. Be kind to yourself, be fully resourced as usual. Let's pull you some cards, Pisces. What wants to come up for Pisces? All right. Choose who you are becoming. This is a shedding of old identities. And there's eclipse. It's cutting away from old identities. So what is the new identity that you're taking on? And maybe you've already taken on those identities, and it's a process of saying it, speaking it, putting it everywhere. I've just changed my name and changing it on 100 million documents and places that I don't even think of until I go there. And so it's very much, this identity, the hope you believe that when you've ended a phase of life and you're complete with that you change your name and take on a new name, to take on a new identity, to stamp that new identity into existence. And so it's like, are you the identity of creator, or powerful feminine leader, or powerful soulpreneur, entrepreneur, or mother? And what identities is it time for you to let go of? Like when this card's about choose who you're becoming, it's like using that to guide you, to guide your daily thoughts, to guide you what beliefs you need to shed and what beliefs you need to keep. This is overcoming the limiting beliefs this eclipse is so much about for you. You got changes, and it's in a protection message of like you're kind of resisting wanting to make the changes, wanting to make the leap. It's saying don't let the fear stop you from jumping in. You got this. This is going to happen for you. This is going to make big changes in a positive direction. This is soul on fire. So make sure to jump in. You can always improve it later. You can always, you can always perfect later, but you'll never get more information, and you'll never be able to master something if you're not doing it and engaging with the thing. If you're not taking actions on it, you can never master it. People always kind of stumble on this thing where they want it to be perfect before they do it. You can't be a perfect artist. You only become great at something by doing the something. So please be the soul on fire. It's wanting you to engage your passions, like orient to your, like set the compass to your vision and lock steady on that, and be this inspiration, light up the world with passion, inspire other people, get them moving into their empowerment, change this world, and be that fire, that enthusiasm, that one that is optimistic about the future and sees the future vision of humanity and love, humanity as the light has returned, humanity no longer under this depravity, humanity evolved, and leaders amongst leaders, and really creating magic and amazingness and fun and adventure in this world again. Like we can have such amazingness, and we haven't seen it for 6,500 years. You got this, Pisces. You can do this. So don't let the fear or limitations hold you back. Sending you so much love. If you'd like to book a pick your price astrology reading, the sale is going until the 16th. If you're watching this after that, you can get my sliding scale fees for those of you that have financial difficulties, and you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com to book that. That's empowered women with the E plural, rise, RISE.com. And please like and share this video. Really appreciate you. Sending you all so much love, and I'll see you on the next bi-monthly astrology update. Or you can hit me over on TikTok to get astrology and soul coaching nearly every day at the Goddess Astrologer. All right, y'all.